for your people.
Therefore, let it be known to you that salvation of God has been sent to the Gentiles, and they will hear it. And when he said these words, the Jews departed and had a great dispute among themselves. What about Peter? When he's up on the rooftop, God says, don't call anything unclean that I have called clean. And then he ends up sending him to the Gentiles, who is Cornelius. Salvation comes to Cornelius' home, all his friends and all his family. Okay. They all get saved, born again, baptized, filled with the Holy Spirit.
Perfect. You clearly don't know the Bible. You don't know what a Gentile is. That's your problem.
That's right.
The word Gentile just means nation.
It means non-Jew.
No, it doesn't.
Anyone who wasn't a Jew was referred to as a Gentile.
You're a liar. Let's get it. We're going to get the definition of Gentiles.
Was Cornelius' family his friends a Jew?
Yes, he was. He was a prime example of a... Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't. He was a Roman soldier,
Can I show you?
bro. This Greek word for Gentiles. Yeah, a tribe, especially a foreign, non-Jewish one, usually by implication pagan, Gentile, heathen, nation, people. So it's a non-Jewish person. That's Strong's Concordance.
That's the Strong's.
Yeah.
The word is a polysemous word. It depends on the context in which it's used. Hold on.
Because all nations can become Israel.
No, it just means a race. You skip all the way to the end to say by implication pagan, Gentile.
I didn't skip to the end, bro.
Parentheses, non-Jews. It just means nation, people.
I'm trying to lie, man.
I'm trying to lie. I'm just...
I guess he was trying to land a point that black people, Hebrew Israelites, I don't know. I still don't know what they were talking about. Hebrew Israelites or somebody are the seed of Abraham. This is my response. If you want to know who are the seed of Abraham, who are God's chosen people, who is the bloodline that was promised to Abraham, this is the answer.
These are not the children of God.
So anyone that doesn't come from that seed line is now pronounced a child of the flesh, and they are not the children of God according to Paul.
That's right.
So who was Abraham's actual children?
I'm gonna pull it up right here. Romans 4.
Okay, yeah, let's go to Romans 4, right? 4 and 1. But here's the thing though.
I have actually a direct response to the part of the flesh. I'm gonna read you Romans 4. A little bit lengthy, but just hear me out. Abraham justified by faith. What shall we say that Abraham, our forefather, according to the flesh, discovered in this matter? If in fact Abraham was justified by works, he had something to boast about, but not before God. What does Scripture say? Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness. Now to the one who works, wages are not credited as a gift, but an obligation. However, to the one who does not work, but trusts God, who justifies the ungodly, their faith is credited as righteousness. Ungodly? Are the Jews ungodly? Are the Gentiles ungodly? I think both, yes. David says the same thing when he speaks of the blessedness of the one to whom God credits righteousness apart from works. Blessed are those whose transgressions are forgiven, whose sins are covered. Blessed is the one whose sin the Lord will never count against them. Going back again, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever, not Jew, not Gentile, not female, not male, not slave, not free, whosoever, is the blessedness only for the circumcised or also for the uncircumcised? We have been saying that Abraham's faith was credited to him as righteousness. Under what circumstances was it credited? Was it after he was circumcised or before? Were the people of Israel, were they God's people when they were born into the bloodline, or what was it caused? Was it when they were circumcised, when they popped out the womb? Were they Gentiles when they did a snip on the... And now they're Israelites? Is that what made them God's or Abraham's seed? No, what does it say? It says it was not after but before, and he received circumcision as a sign, a seal, righteousness that he had by faith while he was still circumcised. So then he is the father of all who believed but have not been circumcised, in order that righteousness might be accredited to them. And he is then also father of the circumcised, who not only are circumcised but who also follow in the footsteps of the faith that our father Abraham had before he was circumcised. The children of Abraham, the seed of Abraham, are not those who are circumcised, are not those who are uncircumcised, but the people who by faith follow in the same faith that Abraham had when he followed God.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Racha HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brother, and you fellow believers of this truth, and shalom to the elect. So anyway, it's a lot to go into in this video. I just decided to go read a little more the definition on Gentile. I'm not going to be able to go into all of it because it's a lot to go into, as far as it goes deep when you go into this word Gentile, and you can pull out, like I went to the Blue Letter on a couple of videos ago, a while ago, a couple of months ago, in Galatians 3:28, where it says Jew or Greek. And then when I went to the Strong's root word, it actually said Grecian. And Grecian is a Hellenistic word, which meant Greek-speaking Jew. Right? So we're going to find out that this word Hellene and Hellenistes, right, was not so-called off of Hebrew, but off of Greek. Well, let's read and see what it says. I don't want to be wrong on it. Well, this word Greek, or let me say another word in there, Gentile, is neither Greek, Hebrew, nor Greek word. So let's go to the scripture that they pulled out, Acts 28 and 28. And be it known, therefore, unto you that salvation, that the salvation of God is sent to the Gentiles, and that they will hear it. Right. So in the beginning clip, that guy was talking about Cornelius. He was being a Roman. That's all racism right there. Right. Actually, I did a video on that as well, that there were Israelite in the Roman army. Israelites was in the Roman army. Clear. You can Google that. They're admitting that now. So these guys that's going out teaching, they're trying to be quick and make little quick short points. I don't know if these brothers, what's going on with them and the further conversation. But of course, the Christians only going to make their point seen. They won't, let the other, they won't show the whole video. And you see, that's what they do, because they're cowards when it comes to scriptures, right? So anyway, we see this word Gentile, right? And I'm going to go to this word Gentile, which means ethnos, right? So we go to this word ethnos. Let me see if I can find it. I know I had it up. But you know what? Let's go to Romans 4 and 17 that he also went into, right? Is it 4 and 17? But he went into the word ethnos, that word Gentile, right? I believe that word Gentile. Let me go back. It can get confusing because I'm opening up these pages. Right. This word Gentile, see right here, it says ethnos. So, we're going to go to Romans 4 and 17. It says, as it is written, I've made thee a father of many nations, right? Before him whom he beloved, even God who quickeneth the dead and calleth those things which be not as though they were, right? So we go down here, the father of many nations. We see that same word ethnos. So we can see this word Gentile, Greek, and nations. They all kind of working together on placement, on how they want to place it. Now we know that, let me get another example. Let's go to the older Bible, Acts 28 and 28. It says, therefore be known to you that this half of God is sent to heathen men, and they should be there, something like that. This old English. So they didn't even use the word Gentile in this older Bible, right? See right there, they didn't use the word Gentile. They just put heathen man. So heathen man is another word for Greek, right? Is another word for Gentile. But I don't understand how it's another word for nations, because they're trying to say that only heathens, anyone who's a heathen is of another nation. This is where the scholars got confused. So I did a Google, which we know the truth. I did a quick Google, and I typed where there's some Jews in the ancient time that didn't practice being a Jew. We know this, but just for the edification, it says, yes, throughout ancient history, there were individuals who were considered Jewish by lineage, but did not actively practice Judaism. So hold that right there, right? That this is making all the sense. So we go back here, and it says this word ethnos, and we look this up. I don't think I have it up. Ethnos. I thought I saved it. Here we go. it says here, a multitude, whether a man or beast living together, associated living together, a multitude of the individuals of the same nature or genealogy. This is what it's saying, the human family, tribe, nation, and people. And this is what the brother was saying when he went to the Strong's definition. And it says probably, you see that? Probably from G1486, a race or as the same habit, i.e. a tribe, nation, foreign, non-Jewish, one usually implicated pagan, Gentile, heathen, nation, people. So they got Gentile, heathen, nation. They put all that together and they all say it's non-Jews, right? Now we got to figure out, why is it saying non-Jew? We just went into the question here and said, were there some Jews in ancient times that did not practice being a Jew? Yes, meaning they was not considering themselves Jews. Clearly. Now with these guys, it would have been easier just to go into the blue letter and just bring out the actual meanings of everything. Like this word in Galatians 3:28. I didn't want to go there, but it looked like I'm going to go there again. Let me dial that in real quick. Galatians 3:28. Let's see what that says. Well, actually, I want to get it in the blue letter. The blue letter is really the correct source to go into when pulling these things out. It says here, there's neither Jew nor Greek, right? So we go to G1672. Hellene. It says here, Greek by nationality, whether native or mainland or Greek islands. If you understand the word Greek, it's not technically one nation of people. It's multitude of nations of people, right? The Egyptians, some Jews, Arameans, various other people, right? So it says in a wider sense, the name embraces all nations not Jews that made the language and the custom and the learning of the Greek their own. Right? So you got to know, we're going to get into that too. So when you go down here to Hellene, this is the Strong's definition. It says G1671, Grecian, right? So what is a Grecian? We go up here to Acts 6:1. We already at that, Acts 6. Let's see where we at. I want to go to Acts 6:1. And let's see what that says. So we go to Acts 6:1 real quick. And then I'll read the main point I'm doing the video. Acts 6:1, it says Grecians, right? And this is what it says. One who imitates the manners, the customs, and the worships of the Greeks and use the Greek tongue, right? That's what it says. Used in the New Testament, Jews born in foreign lands and speaking Greek. So what they'll say is Hellenist and Hellene are two different things, right? Because this is what it's saying. But when you go back to Acts 6, right, it's a lot to go into. When you go back to, was it Acts 2? Or what was it? Galatians 3:28. You see this word, G1672. It says right here, Grecian, the same thing. But I'm not trying to get off course because, you know, I went over this several times. But I want to go to, we read Acts 28 and 28. That's a lot in here. To show you that Gentiles and nations, they use the same terminology, right? Acts 11 and 20, it says, in Cyprus, and some of them were men of Cyprus and Cyrene when they were coming Antioch, spake unto the Grecians preaching the Lord, right? So let me go on. Let's go back over here to Acts 28 and 27, then I'll get to the point. It says, for the heart of this people is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes have they closed, right? Lest they should see with their eyes. So whose eyes were closed? These would have to have been the Israelites who saw, right? Who was cut off, right? And hear with their ears and understand with their heart and should be converted, right? And I should heal them. Who is this talking about? When it talk about for the heart of this people wax gross. This is obviously talking about the Israelites. Be it known therefore unto you that the salvation of God, right, is sent unto the Gentiles, that they will hear. This is what they're talking about in Acts, the verse up before that, right? That's what they're talking about. The blinded of Israel. That's why I went into then Googled it so you can see, okay? There was Israelites who went off, who didn't accept the practices of being a Jew. This is why sometimes it'll say a non-Jewish person. You got our people now say they're not Jews, right? Let's get some context with that. Isaiah 42 and 22. It says, right, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. And this is even brought in here to the Americas, right? They are for prey, and none delivereth for the spoil, and none saith to restore. As I always say, it's easy to talk about peace and prosperity and the love of Jesus Christ when you have all these nations prospering over us, and we're in the predicament we're in, and we're crying out to Jesus, right? But yet everybody can be saved. Even Donald Trump, right? Even all those people that has a hand in the conquering and dividing and destroying us as a people, they can be saved. It doesn't matter, Jew or Greek, you're all one. Understanding, just like America, whether you're a Jew or an American, Jews are in America too. Real Israelites, by the way. So yeah, it's what it is. Jeremiah 4:22, for my people are foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children. They are wise. They have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do no good. They have no knowledge. This is what's being quoted back then, right? And what we was just reading in Acts, right? You got, I was going to go there and, well, let me look it up. This is what I wanted to go to, Helene. It says here, I'm going to just try to get to the point. While there is no direct Hebrew equivalent of Hellene or Hellenist, the concept Gentiles or non-Jews is often represented by the Hebrew word goy, right, of H 1471. Now we got to know that Deuteronomy 28:64 said that our people are scattered among all people from one end of the earth even to the other. So how can you exclude Israelites being amongst heathens? You can't, right? Which means nation or people. You see that? Again, translators, they see it one way, but they're not looking at it the whole spectrum, that the Israelites are scattered amongst all these other nations, as James 1:1 say, right? To the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad. The term Hellene is used to the New Testament to refer to a Greek person. Often in contrast to Jews, it denotes someone who is ethnically Greek or culturally aligned with Greek customs. How can you be ethnically Greek when there's a multitude of ethnicities amongst Greek? Especially if they made it their tongue and their practice and their belief. Make that make sense. And the language, in the broader sense, it can also refer to Gentiles or non-Jews. Why do they say Gentiles and non-Jews? I thought non-Jews were Gentiles. They're talking about multitudes of nations, right? Anyway, especially in the context of early Christian church outreach beyond Jewish communities. In the first century, I'm just reading what it says here. In the first century, the Greek culture was highly influential across the Roman Empire, right? Due to the conquest of Alexander the Great, which what happened with Antiochus, you know what I'm saying? And what happened with the Romans, the Greeks and the Romans. They were still Edomites, right? But you had multitudes of nations among them. This guy talking about Cornelius was a Roman. So was Paul. You see what I'm saying? That's the first thing I would have told him. That's that white supremacy. These white Christians are throwing it up in your face, and these Tom Christians are throwing it up in your face. Like we were nothing. We were even tributaries unto them, you know? It says here, Alexander the Great and subsequent Hellenistic period, Greek was the lingua franca of the Eastern Mediterranean and Greek philosophy. Art, the religion, permanent, many aspects of life. The New Testament was written in Koine Greek, reflecting the cultural dominance. So you got to understand through these translations, they had to make a separation between a Greek, and an Israelite, right? A Greek and a Jew. They made that separation. The problem is it was Israelites who were Greeks. We just said that, right? Culture, influential, intellectual heritage that was widespread during the time of the early church. Now here's the definition. Help words. Hellene, i.e. Greek, 1672, originally referred to any native Greek and later became synonymous with any Greek-speaking person. Wait a minute. Didn't we just read in Acts 6:1, right? Or Acts 11:21, right? Didn't we just read that here? Right? A great number of the Grecians, right? Acts, 11:21? Yeah. Acts 11:20. That's what I want to get. Salakia. 11:20. This is what we just read. It says Antioch, the Grecians, G1671 and G1675. They made a separation, right? Because of believers and non-believers. Okay? So it says Hellenistis, one who imitates the manner and the customs of worship of the Greek and use the Greek tongue. Used in the New Testament, Jews born in foreign lands are speaking Greek. So you would have had other nations that would have been also speaking the Greek, right? But it says here, Jews born in foreign land and speaking Greek. And that's what we just read in the, right here. It says, refer to native Greek and later became synonymous with any Greek-speaking person. What do you mean by any? Right? What do you mean by that? Okay, let's get one more. Let's go to Revelation 7 and 9. Revelation 7 and 9. Okay? After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations, kindreds, peoples, and tongues. Do you know all these words pretty much mean the same? A multitude of no man could number, of all nations, right? All nations, kindreds, peoples, and tongues. They all pretty much are synonymous with one another. So here we go. See here, ethnos. It says all nations, and it'll have the same definition, a tribe, especially foreign, non-Jewish, because you had other tribes that didn't follow it, right? That were non-Jewish, so to speak. But when we go here, and it really said of the same nature or genus. How are you going to be of the same nature or genus with a multitude of tongues, right? Or multitude of heritages. Multitude which no man number, all nations, kindreds, and people. Let's go to people. It says here, a people group of the same tribe, nation, who are of the same stock and language. That don't sound like everybody. Okay, so let's go back to kindreds. This is the one I want to get. And it's summarized. This G5443. In the New Testament, all the persons descended from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch of Jacob. Now I want to jump to the Romans 4. Again, it's a lot to go into. And this guy that was reading all this is all talking about the faith. And I'm converting them back. To make a long story short, I'm not going to read the whole chapter. Verse 13 says the promise. This is talking about Abraham received the promise. And he goes on to talk about the promise and through the law, but through the righteousness of faith, because they was boasting about the law. It was all about the law, and they lost the faith and the belief in the Messiah and Yahweh, the Father. And that's why he sent his son, to bring us back through faith. This is pretty much talking about. But then it goes on here to say, as it is written, I've made thee a father of many nations. right? And then it goes on to talk about the, I made thee a father of many nations according to that I've spoken, so shall thy seed be. See that? When against hope believe in hope that he might become the father of many nations, right? According to that which was spoken, so shall thy seed be. We ain't got to look up seed, but we will go to Acts 3:25, right? We will go back to Acts 3:25, which was quoted in Genesis 12:3, right? Ye are the children of the prophets and the covenant which God made with our fathers, saying unto Abraham, and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth, all the kindreds of the earth be blessed, right? So we see here back in what we read in Romans 4, I made thee a father to many nations, families, right? Let me go back here. Acts 3:25. I thought I had it up. Right. It says here, let me go back. Yeah. And in thy seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed. So right here, we see right here, this is all it's going into, man. Lineage running back to the progenitor of ancestry. This can't be everybody if it's the same progenitor of ancestry. A tribe, a nation, a group of families, all those whose given people lay claim to a common origin. This again can't be everybody, right? The Israelites was distributed into 12 tribes descended from the 12 sons of Jacob. These are divided into families. Families, another word for families is what? Nations, in which we're divided into houses. So a lot of times when you see nations, families divided into houses, spread it abroad,